Welcome back to a Timey-Wimey podcast, where each week we're diving into the timey-wimey world of Doctor Who. I'm Rebecca,
I'm Haley.
and this week we are discussing Series 5, Episode 2, The Beast Below. Haley, how are you doing?
I'm doing much better than I was the other day, better than I was yesterday. I have been sick with a gnarly cold for the past week,
Hmm.
so it's nice to have a good speaking voice. But if you are a video watcher on YouTube, you will probably catch me coughing. So just ignore that. If I start losing my voice, ignore that. I'm perfectly fine, feeling all better, thankfully. But how are you, Rebecca?
I'm doing good. I'm a little tired. The darkness is getting to
Yeah.
me. It's okay. I'm excited that we're here. I'm excited to talk about this episode. We're second week into this new era
Yeah.
of the show, new era of the podcast. It's very exciting.
Very exciting, and I'm really curious to get all of your thoughts and feelings on this episode. But before we do that, I know you have a fantastic fact to share with us.
Of course. So this episode aired April 10th, 2010. Crazy. It was written
Yeah.
by the man, the myth, the legend, Stephen Moffat, and directed by Andrew Gunn. I think he has one more after this, but I didn't actually write that down, so I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. And full transparency, everyone, I only have one fantastic fact because there's only one thing that I was like is kind of interesting. There's like other small things, but I'm like, it's not even worth mentioning. So I just have one thing. But let us know. Do you like this segment? Is it boring? Should we keep it?
I like this segment.
I like it too, but I want to know what do
It's
the people
fun.
think? Let us know. Okay, so Sophie Okanoto, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, who plays Liz 10, she previously played the companion in the Shulka Doctor series, the Scream of the Shakla, that keeps coming up,
Ooh.
the one with Richard Grant, the animated show. That show keeps coming up.
It keeps popping up a lot recently. We're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to add that to the list on top of the Doctor Who movie, the Sarah Jane Adventures,
Mm-hmm. Class.
Class. Yeah, Class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. There's other things I could have included. Like, I guess Stephen Moffat said this is like the least favorite episode he's done. He called it like a bit of a
Yeah.
mess, but then he softened on it a few years later.
Oh,
There's a line about how the Starship UK like closed their borders that was cut. Again, nothing like that interesting. So, not even really worth mentioning, even though I just did. Okay, The Beast Below. You either love it or you're like, it's okay. How do you feel about it overall, in general?
overall, I really enjoy it. Actually, I kind of feel like this episode is a little underrated. And to be completely honest, it's an episode I didn't really appreciate the first time when I watched the season. I don't know if it was like feeling bored or if it was feeling confused at the plot with like the creepy smilers. I don't know. I remember vaguely there being something about how I could not stand the like
Mm.
creepy smilers going from happy to that really creepy like face. But I enjoy it now. I like it. Is it like a 10 out of 10, the best of the best? No, but it's a solid episode in my opinion. And I think there's a lot of moments in this episode that I was really surprised were in this episode because of how iconic they are, whether it's the line or part of, a character, you know. But how do you feel?
I love this episode. It's a banger to me.
Mhm.
It's such a fun episode. I think it's a fascinating concept. I think the character moments are really fascinating, really strong. I love it. The Smilers, yeah, whatever. They're there, I guess. But I love this episode and I always enjoy watching it.
Me too. There's just something about it. It's fun, it's different, and there's a lot to it beneath the
Yeah.
surface.
Oh yeah.
Literally.
Definitely. Oh. um Yeah, I completely agree. So we open. Amy is floating through space. I love that shot of the doctor like
Yeah.
holding her ankle. I love that she's just like in her nightgown this whole episode. It really just like leads into the fairy tale element of it all and really
Yeah.
makes you feel like she's just on this like magical adventure the night before her wedding. It's so perfect. I love it.
I love it too. It's such a classic shot from Doctor Who all these years later. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's one of like the standout shots of the show and I love it. I love her floating in space. I think it's really really fun.
And I love the concept of the Starship UK. I think that is fascinating, and I really want to explore this idea more. I love any kind of concept of like a colony ship or, people on a ship looking for a new home, a little bit of Star Trek vibes there. I would love to explore like other countries floating through space. I just think this is such a fascinating idea, like this entire country on this giant spaceship looking for a new home. Like there's something really beautiful to that. And I just think it's such a cool idea.
I agree with you. And something I just thought about, and I'm going to pose this question. So, like, we know this the Starship UK, how it's powered is this star whale in this episode, but there's talk about how Scotland has their own like ship. What are they powered by? What are all of the other countries powered by?
I know it is kind of funny. Like all the other countries got their stuff to work, but the UK just
Yeah.
couldn't figure it out for some reason. Kind of funny. I mean, not funny, but a little funny.
Yeah. I don't know. You
Also,
know what? Maybe sorry to interrupt you, but maybe the star whale like popped in before they finished and they were like, "Oh, this is way easier than building like a crazy big engine."
I'm also curious. Like, okay, the star whale showed up and helped them, and then they trapped it. Like,
Yeah,
how did that work exactly? I mean, not that it really matters, but I just think about it.
me too.
Also, thinking about the Scotland thing, I find it funny that Scotland got its own ship, but not Ireland.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. And granted, we're Americans. We don't know all the lore, but
Yeah,
from the little I know, I would have thought it would be Ireland over Scotland. But
yeah.
again, I
Or at least
literally know
like
none of the lore.
they both could get their own ship.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just thought I always think that's kind of funny. I also like this concept because it really fits into the universe that has already been established in the show. Like we know the Earth event. I don't know if the timing works out with all this, but like just go with me. We know that the Earth is destroyed at some point and that people find a new Earth. So I always like to imagine that these people on the Starship UK are the ones that eventually find New Earth. And I don't know, it's kind of cool to see humanity travel like that.
Like the 10th, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the episode? I think it's the 10th Doctor. No. Wow, that's really embarrassing. No, it's when Nine is talking to Rose in the end of the world, and he's like, the human race. They just go, you know why? Because I was kind of thinking of the waters of Mars. I don't know why. Anyways, Nine, tells Rose, like, the human race. Like, they just keep going and they keep going and go from place to place, and they always exist.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
I just think it fits in really well. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We need to talk about the opening because the
Oh,
opening isn't
yeah.
actually Amy and the doctor. It's this kid being like bullied. Okay, this is so crazy to me. So they are just this kid like gets a zero, which like okay.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna feed you to this beast below the ship. And everyone like they know without really knowing because they're like, you can't take the lift with us. And like the people in the robes are being so mean. Like, this is crazy. We're just like, okay, feeding this child to this beast when they know the beast doesn't
Yeah.
even eat kids in the first place.
Unless, okay, remember how Amy and the doctor, sorry, I'm tripping myself up. It's going to be an adjustment going from 10 to 11, guys. Please bear with me. Anyways, when like once they go through like the stomach and mouth or wherever they are in the whale, they go to the door and the only button that's on there is forget. So maybe it's that kid knew too much and so they dumped the kid in the whale knowing the whale wouldn't hurt the kid, but that the kid would get to the button to forget it, which is really convoluted now that I'm saying
Yeah,
that.
I don't think the kid knows anything. He got a 0. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding, but um I don't know. It's just crazy to me. And like everyone knows that people just kind of like disappear sometimes.
Yeah.
It's very crazy. But
It
yeah,
is
justice for
crazy.
this kid. Like just cuz you got a 0, like imagine being this kid's parents and they're like, "Sorry, little Timmy's gone. I don't know what happened to him."
No, like actually terrifying.
Yeah, insane.
Wait, no, because wasn't okay. So the kid who was in the beginning, didn't he come in at the end? And the
Yeah.
girl was like, "Hey, dude," and he didn't remember her. So maybe he really did press the forget button
Okay,
somewhere.
I know what you're talking about. I think it's not that. I think the way that was performed, no offense to these child actors, was kind of confusing. But I think it's not that he forgot who she was. I think it's that he was startled because he saw the like, I don't know, the
Oh,
antenna of the star whale, and he was like, "Ah, the star whale." But then they turn around and they realize, oh, the star whale's nice and friendly. But I think it was just kind of like blocked and performed in a weird way. Because, yeah, it does seem like he doesn't know who she is, but that is never really explained. So I don't know. That's how I think it's meant to be, but I could be wrong.
interesting. Now I'm trying to think this whole time, and I know this makes zero sense, but this whole time, every time I watch this episode, I just assume that like the things protruding are the whale's arms or like a flipper or something, not an antenna.
I don't know. We don't know what the star whale looks like.
I guess we'll never know.
Well, hopefully we do one day. I'd like to see the star whale again. It's a cool concept. A whale in
Yeah.
space? Come on.
No, I do. I actually really love the concept of the star whale.
Yeah. So going back to the doctor and Amy, he tells her, we don't get involved. We are just observers. I have in my notes the doctor just lying about not getting involved. And I
Yeah.
actually really, what do you think about this? About him telling her this?
I honestly don't know how I feel. I think on one hand, he likes the idea of that, of just being observers. But also that man is a lion. That man does not stand at the back. He interferes every chance he gets.
I really like this because I think this is the doctor still trying to kind of fix his past mistakes from the 10th Doctor,
Ooh.
specifically when it comes to like Waters of Mars. Like, he's trying to do things a little bit differently, at least for like a half a second. He's like, we're not getting involved. We're just observing. Like, he lets Amy think, like, never get involved unless there's children crying. But obviously, we know the doctor's always getting involved, like, no matter what. But I think this is him. There's like some lingering, maybe guilt or hesitancy because of what happened with the Waters of Mars and the 10th Doctor. And I think the Doctor in general just feels like he got to this point where he went too far. So I think this was him trying to kind of maybe reel himself back a little bit.
No, that's a really good point. And that's probably why he said that, because he really just is tired of all the grief and all the blood on his hands, and he's realized where he went wrong. You know, Time Lord Victorious was Time Lord Victorious. But I think at the end of the day, like that's always what he wishes he could do, but deep down inside
Yeah.
he knows he's lying.
Yeah. Yeah, of course he does. Like, I
Yeah.
love Amy's still looking at the screen in the TARDIS, and he's already like outside talking to the crying little girl.
Yes, I love how he tells Amy, because she's like, I thought you said we were observers only. And he's talking about children crying. And he's like, when they cry silently, it's because they
Mm-hmm.
can't stop. Any parent knows that. And I love the glimpses we get of the Doctor being a parent and having that instinct of knowing that, like, not only is a silent crying child, like, there's something wrong, but when no one else is, like, aiding them, he's, like, trying to help and trying to figure out. And Amy asks him, like, "Are you a parent?" And he just, continues on without answering that question. Again, ask him for a friend. Who's your child? Who's the mother of Susan?
Don't even get me started. But yeah, I love that moment. And again, I do love any kind of moments that allude to the Doctor being a father. And I
Yeah.
don't care what current writers say. I don't
Yeah.
I don't care if current writers are trying to retcon Doctor being a father in his past. You know what? They don't make the rules. I do. I decide what's
Yeah.
canon. So I don't care what you say, Russell D. Davies.
Clock it.
Uh, but yeah, I love this scene, and I love Amy kind of clocking that and asking him that, and just his face and him moving on. Of course, not answering. Classic.
Such a classic Doctor move. A line that I love that happened, like, just before this scene is when Amy just is like, "I've been dead for centuries," with, like, wide
Yeah.
eyes. And he's like, "Great. We've got," what does he say? I wrote it down. "Lovely.
Like,
A cheery one." And
yeah, yeah.
I love the way he says that. I didn't realize, like, I guess I just forgot it was from this episode, and I don't know. It's just a really funny line I think about a lot when I'm watching
Yeah.
series 5.
No, it's great. I did mention I do love that Amy's in her nightgown. Like, it again very fits
Yeah.
into the fairy tale element of it all. But if I was her, I would have changed a long time ago.
Oh, 100%, girl. There's a whole TARDIS wardrobe. We could have
Yeah.
seen the wardrobe. Amy in the TARDIS wardrobe.
She like ate up that TARDIS wardrobe.
Yeah, I will say, when I used to watch this episode when I was younger, I would literally be distressed, being like, "Girl, you gotta get out of that nightgown. Why are you in your nightgown?"
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and there's a line later this season. She talks about being in this nightgown. Terrible, but we'll get to it.
Wait, I don't remember the line, so
Oh,
it's gonna
we'll get
be,
to it.
oh, I bet.
We will get to it. I love that he kind of like tests her a little bit. She this is her first trip.
Mm,
He's seeing like what kind of companion she's gonna be, and she's like, I'm in my 90, and he's like, well, it's this or Ledworth. Like, what's it gonna be, Pond? Like, and she's like, okay, I'll go do it. But I love that dynamic between them and him kind of seeing like what kind of companion she's gonna be. I love the 11th Doctor does this a couple times. Well, not really, but he likes to kind of test his companions, and it's interesting.
it's very interesting. Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to figure out how I want to describe the 11th Doctor. Like, there's just so many different sides to him, and we see a
Mhm.
lot of different sides to him in this episode. Testing Amy, and then obviously at the end of this episode, and at the beginning of this episode, he's all cheery. And it's always interesting with the 11th Doctor. You never quite know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. If Matt Smith is good at one thing, it is, flipping his mood instantly. And that is something
Hmm.
I love about him. Like, there are scenes throughout the show where he goes from like happy, fun, silly 11th Doctor to the oncoming storm, to
Yeah.
the predator. Like, he just immediately can turn back into this like, old, last of his kind alien, and it is fascinating to watch. And it really is what makes Matt Smith stand out as the Doctor and stand out as an actor.
Oh, 100%. I completely agree with you there. He is so wickedly talented, and it's a delight watching him in Doctor
Mhm.
Who. As the episode continues on, we have Mandy. Mandy is the girl who is crying,
Mhm.
and Amy goes after her, and they're chit-chatting, and Amy's like trying to pick a lock, and as she's picking a lock and having her girly chat with Mandy, she remembers that she's getting married.
Yeah.
And then she's like wondering what she ended up doing. What are your thoughts on that and the whole Amy kind of having cold feet thing? Give me your
I love
thoughts.
this moment. I really do love this moment. And I love Mandy being like,
Mhm.
married. And she's like, yes, shut up, married. Like, no big deal. Like, you can see she's kind of freaking out about it. And I don't think it really has anything to do with Rory specifically, more just the idea of like growing up and getting married. And like,
Mm,
that's a huge thing. And that's scary. And she's so young. She's a baby. Like,
yeah.
so I think it, but yeah, that line, I wonder what I did. Like, that is such a good line from her. And I think it just really shows like she's unsure of things right now. She's at a really uneasy place. I mean, again, her life has been flipped upside down by the doctor. Like, we forget Prisoner Zero, like that happened 2 years ago for her at this point. And then suddenly this man is back the night before her wedding. Like, who wouldn't take that
Oh
as
yeah.
like some kind of crazy sign, some kind of, interference from the universe? Like, people would take that and run with it. So I think it's totally fair that she's feeling uneasy about it at this point.
That's such a good point. I always forget that like it's 2 years before the events,
Me
like
too.
between the events of the 11th hour and like the night before her wedding. I forget that so easily. So you brought up such a good point. And yeah, I agree. It definitely, I don't think really has to do with Rory at all. It's all about her. It's about the commitment. It's about growing up, like you said. And she's had, this imaginary friend who's not imaginary. He's real and he's back in the picture. And yeah, I mean, I would take it as a sign that, oh, maybe it's okay to press pause. This is time
Yeah.
machine after all. So like I can still make it to my wedding.
Yeah, exactly. It's the night before her wedding for as long as she wants it to be.
Yeah.
But I do, there's a right before that, there's a really the doctor's like, oh, I grabbed this from Mandy when I bumped into her. And then later Mandy's like, yeah, your friend kept bumping into me. Very funny. Always makes me laugh.
Yeah. Me
Also,
too.
did you notice the sign that was by or above this hole that Amy's trying to break into?
We know.
The sign said Magpie Electrics.
Oh my gosh, Magpie Electrics is literally in the show in the background all the time. Like I think
Mhm.
there was a Magpie Electrics something in Ruby's bedroom.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think so. But I remember us talking about this all the way back in the Indian's Lantern, and we were like, yeah, it comes
Yeah.
back in the Beast Below or something. Um
You're so right. I
yeah,
completely
so
forgot about that.
I know. Now we're here.
That's actually insane.
I know.
We get to meet an icon in this episode. And
Mm,
you know exactly who I'm talking about. None
yeah.
other than Liz 10.
Liz 10. I love this character. I think she's so interesting. Yeah, what do you think about her?
I love her. Like she just takes you captive immediately, like your attention, and she's regal, she's iconic, she's sassy, she's firm, she is a
Mhm.
proper queen. I love that she goes by Liz 10. I think that's like so much fun. That like in
Yeah.
the future, it's Liz 10, not Elizabeth the 10th. Liz 10. Like that's just so fun. I love that she's like down to investigate and trying to figure out what's going on. And obviously we find out at the end like she put this all into place and into plan. But I do love that we see her like thinking this through and wanting to know all that's going on. I will say, the first time I watched this episode, before she took off her porcelain face mask, I thought she was River.
Oh. Okay, you know what? That's kind of I'm not, I can't diss you too much on that, but that is interesting.
Yeah. And it wasn't so much based on, her appearance or her role or what she was saying. It was just very in my mind for some reason.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why else would a random female side character be hiding behind a mask? But
Mm,
obviously, we learn it's just so like she could be walking amongst people and not get like hounded by people. But
yeah.
that's
So valid.
that's what 13-year-old me thought when she first saw
And you
this
know what?
episode.
I'm sure you weren't the only one. Well, people might have known, but I'm sure knowing how Doctor Who fans work, someone was thinking the same thing.
I hope so. I hope I'm not the only one.
I definitely have more things to say about Liz 10 later, but so basically, Amy gets caught with the whole sneaking into the whole thing. The people in robes come and get her, and then she wakes up in the voting booth. She finds out that she's 1,306 years old. Very funny. I love her reaction to that. Karen Gillan is like so great at just these like little moments, and just the
Yeah.
way she says things and reacts to things is really well done. I love the marital status thing. It's unknown, and her just kind of like anxiously waiting to see what the results of that are going to be, and then being disappointed when she doesn't find out.
Yeah, I love that. And I find the whole moment where she gets all of this information kind of blasted in her mind and then just automatically chooses to forget. Like I find that whole moment so interesting and so fascinating, and not to bring up another TV show that has no relation to Doctor Who whatsoever, and most people probably haven't even heard of this show. But in the moment where she's getting all of this information, do you know what it made me think of?
Did you think of Chuck?
Yeah. When Chuck gets like the intersect in his mind, it's what I will say is Chuck is an amazing American TV show that no one ever talks about. Just don't watch the last season, but you're welcome for the recommendation.
Oh, Timothy Dalton's in it.
Oh my gosh, no, you're so right. He is.
I was
He
like, we have to
is.
give a Doctor Who connection. That's it.
There is. That's the connection. Yeah, but anyways, it made me think of that. But
Yeah.
what are your thoughts and feelings on this whole moment with
um
Amy?
First off, this whole like voting system is so insane. So they show this video to everyone like every 5 years or something once you turn 16, and then you can either protest, and if you protest they just like feed you to the star whale, which is
Yeah.
crazy. And then they're like, if just 1% of you protests, then everyone is screwed. Then we have to let the whale go, except not really, because if you do protest we're just going to kill you. So that's crazy. And then everyone just gets to forget about what they're doing, which is just fascinating. But I do like this video of this like old man like explaining all this. You can
Yeah.
tell like they do kind of, I don't want to give the government too much credit in this episode, but they do kind of take this very seriously, very somberly.
Yeah. They do. They do. And I do just want to note here that like I know I said I love Liz 10. She's iconic, she's a legend, but there are criticisms I will get into with her. Like she's the
Yeah.
reason this whole system is set up. So I don't want that to get misconstrued. But I agree with you. Like you protest and you go in the whale, but then you forget and you keep on going, and it's just this ongoing forever thing where you're just stuck in limbo.
Yeah.
Like you're not progressing, you're not growing, and you just continually forget. And I don't know like what else to say is that it's just that's just very like heavy
Yeah.
to be in a society like that.
No, it's crazy. And I love the sequence, before Amy can really like realize what she's done, she just sees like her hand on the forget button, and the video of herself crying and just telling her, you got to get the doctor out of here. Don't let him investigate. Just get him out of here.
Mhm.
And then the doctor shows up and he's like, Amy, what did you do? And Amy doesn't even remember. Like,
Yeah.
this is the information they needed, and she forced herself to forget and doesn't remember anything at this point, which is really fascinating, especially later on when she and the doctor talk about this, and he gets really upset with her, and she's like, but I don't even remember doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, that is definitely a big plot point we'll get into. And when 11 like enters into the room, he's trying to get the TV to start talking to him, but it won't because it rightfully doesn't recognize him as human. And there's just this moment between Amy and 11 before they're dropped in the whale where she's like, "Hold on, but you look human." And he's like, "Well, you look Time Lord." And that line is just such an iconic line that is said in the show.
Yeah, and I love how he tells her like he's the only one left. Like bad things
Mhm.
happened. It was a bad day, but I don't forget it. Like I carry it with me all the time. And I do love that he kind of just tells her straight up like what happened.
Yeah, it's definitely a contrast to how even 10 was. Like, he
Mhm.
didn't talk about any of, like, yeah, he said he was the last of the Time Lords, but he didn't even really say that much until later on. So it's just, it's interesting to see the contrast where 11 is like sharing that detail with Amy, even though it's very brief, so soon in like their friendship.
I mean, let's not forget when the 10th Doctor just like lies to Martha at the start of Gridlock. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
lets her believe that the Time Lords are still there, that his planet is still there, that, they could go visit, but they're not going to. And I just think it shows a lot of growth for him to just be like, no, they are gone. And it was really bad, but, I don't choose to forget that at all.
Exactly.
And then, they fall into the whole, they somehow end up in the mouth of the star whale.
Yeah. Somehow, which is very interesting. Then they get caught in a wave.
Yeah, I never really understand this point, but you know what?
It's just the
Sure.
vibe. Just going
Sure.
along with it.
I love him being like, this next word, big word, scary word, so let's like he tries to like calm her down and then tells her that they are standing on a tongue.
Yeah, and look, I love a silly, goofy moment, and this is a silly, goofy moment, and I love it. It's fun, it's camp, it's ridiculous. Does it make full sense? No, but it doesn't have to. It's just
Yeah.
fun. And of course, like you said, like that moment is great, and Amy's just like, I traveled. I like left the night before my wedding to come with you, and I'm in the mouth of a whale.
Yeah. I love how at the like later on in the episode she like magically looks like perfectly clean
That's what
again.
I was gonna say.
Hair
Like,
in
not
the most
even a
like
stain.
gorgeous bun. Not a problem in the world.
Not a speck of anything, which is really
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Um,
I love the doctor, fixing his bow tie and saying this is not
mhm.
going to be big on dignity. Very fun.
Very fun. And then, of course, they get to the door with the forget button, but never fear, Liz 10 appears. That was really cringy. I did not mean to rhyme like that. Um, but I love her whole interaction with the doctor and how she's like, "Of course I know all about you." And she lists like all of like the royal line's interactions with him. And she's like, "Oh, and you were knighted and exiled on the same day," which is
Yeah.
throwback mention to Tooth and Claw. And
Always
just
got to bring
hearing
that
all
up.
of that, just hearing that made me really happy to hear.
Yeah. And she mentions that he has like tea and scones with Liz too. Queen Elizabeth II.
No, you're so right. Ugh, the way I believe it too.
Oh, I can totally see that. Have you seen that clip of her having tea with Paddington the bear?
No. And now
Oh,
I feel
okay.
like I need to go watch it.
It's very nice. It's cute. But yeah, I love the idea that, her talking about like, yeah, of course I know who you are. Like my whole family, we were brought up on the
Mhm.
stories of the doctor. I just love that detail, like, because of course they
Yeah.
would. Of course, in this universe, the royal family, they know all about the doctor. I love that she like knows it's him right away. I just think that's a really fun detail and really interesting.
And it's really funny too because in real life, the royal family, they've known about Doctor Who since it for a very long time. Like Prince William literally visited the TARDIS
Yeah.
earlier this year. which is
I like
mind-boggling.
the fictional version of the royal family way more than I do the
Oh,
real family.
oh, 100,000,000%. I just find it really funny that in both the real
Yeah.
universe and the fictional universe, the royal family knows of the Doctor.
Hmm. And Matt Smith played Prince Philip. It's all connected.
And Olivia Colman played Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, we don't talk enough about that. That is crazy.
We don't.
Everything's
Olivia Colman was
connected.
incredible.
Oh, she's so good.
Everything's
She's so good in
connected.
everything.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to start including that in the graph. The Crown.
The Crown, Broadchurch,
Church.
Bridgerton,
Insert
Bridgerton.
any random BBC show.
Yeah, Bridgerton,
Dairy Girls.
Broadchurch, The Crown. Are there a lot of Dairy Girls crossovers?
There's at least 2 that I know of.
Right. Okay.
There's Nicola, and then the guy who plays Brannigan in Gridlock, he's in the show. I forget who he plays,
Oh.
but
Okay. Interesting.
maybe that
There
doesn't
are a lot
count.
of Doctor Who like mentions in Dairy Girls, which is very fun. James is a
Yeah,
Whovian.
he is a Whovian. I almost feel like the qualification should be a minimum of 3 people
Yeah.
from a show have
Call
been
the
in Doctor.
Midwife. That's the other big one.
Yeah, that is the other
Yeah.
big one. Literally, okay, we're gonna be here forever if we keep
There's too many
going on.
connections. We have to move on.
We do.
Yeah, Liston has that great line. I'm the bloody queen mate. Basically, I roll. Is it
Rule.
cheesy? Is it 2010s? Yeah, but you know what? I love it. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So we learn that she is investigating her own government. She has all these like glasses of water on the floor in her room. The whole water thing, it doesn't water like it should water because there's no engines. And she's like trying to figure out what's going on. So we find out a little bit later on that she is like 300. And that is probably my main
Yeah.
qualm with this episode because like I don't really see why they did that and like why that mattered to anything. They just like want to hammer home the idea like she's really relived these 10 years over and over again, and she keeps finding herself back at this place, abdicate or forget. But I don't really think that was needed at all to hammer home
No.
the idea that she's 300. Also, it's confusing. Like, okay, is everyone else 300? Like, is she not noticing that like her government, the people of the ship, that they are changing, dying, being born, growing up? Like, is she not noticing that? I just think it's a weird, when Stephen Moffat admits
Yeah.
himself, like, this episode is a bit of a mess. Like, it's moments like that where it's like that
Yeah.
this is a bit messy, definitely not needed. It doesn't add anything to the story at all.
Yeah, definitely. Also, just like how could they slow down her aging? And like, are the kids not growing? Like, are they staying kids forever?
Yeah, like, is everyone slowing down their aging?
Yeah, so many questions about that. I agree. Like, I feel like they really didn't need to hammer home as much as they did about her being
Like,
300.
even if you just stick with what they originally say, like, oh, I've been on the throne 10 years, and even if you just say, like, oh, yeah, you keep finding yourself back here, that alone is, like, powerful enough. Like, that alone is crazy. You don't need to say that she's been doing this for 300 years. They've been on this starship for 300 years. They haven't found anywhere to
Yeah.
land in 300 years.
And they're just like not worried about that.
Yeah. How are they still going? I mean, the star whale, but yeah.
Yeah.
Weird detail shouldn't have been included. Yeah, this is
Okay.
really sad. So they are
Yeah.
torturing the star whale.
This always makes me genuinely upset and really
Yeah.
sad because it's absolutely awful. And like the moment between Amy and 11 when Amy's like, I voted for this, but like why would I do that? And 11 tells her, because you knew if we stayed here, I'd be forced with the impossible choice, humanity or the alien. And having like that put into words just is so makes it even more upsetting because you can see the parallels between the star whale and the doctor, and
Yeah.
Amy really clocks that. And that's actually something I really enjoy about Amy, is that amidst her flaws and any criticism people may have, she gets the doctor very quickly and very
Yeah.
early on, and she just notices and sees the parallel between him and the star whale, about how both the star whale and the doctor can't resist a child crying. They can't resist a child being in distress. But like the whole concept of torturing the star whale just so that all of these people could survive is just so awful that that's
Yeah.
what they
It's
choose to do.
and when he like lets them hear it, like lets them hear the sound of the whale in pain, it
Yeah.
is so sad and like actually painful to hear. And just this idea of this like last of its kind, this like beautiful beast just carrying this whole country on its back. Ugh, it's so sad. What do you think about when the moment the doctor says, after this, he's gonna take her home?
I think this is definitely the oncoming storm popping out. The doctor, I feel like he's really reminded yet again of the pitfalls of humanity and how it always leads him to an impossible choice, to all of the stress and grief and these moments where he has to take blood on his hands. And I think he was giving her a chance. He was giving a human a chance again. And he just kind of snapped. I mean, we see the Ninth Doctor and Father's Day react
Mm-hmm.
really negatively to Rose. I can't place a moment from 10. I'm sure there is one. Yeah, I can't think of an example for 10 off the top of my head. But the doctor gets to these moments of just like desperation, or sorry, not desperation, exasperation with the
Mm-hmm.
human race. I think it makes total sense, especially since he's still figuring himself out, but he's reminded yet again of all of his previous the things that took the last version of him down.
This is the first time he's had a companion in a long time. Like he has been
Yeah.
traveling on his own for a very long time at this point, and I think he's very distraught and rightfully disgusted over what is happening to the star whale.
Mhm.
He says, no one human has anything to say to me today. He has that moment where he says, I can either kill everyone on this ship, or I can kill the star whale, or try to like kill it as kindly as possible, and then
Mhm.
change my name because I won't be the doctor anymore. Like that's a powerful statement, and it is
Yeah.
like you believe it. Like if he did have to do it, this like if he had to lobotomize the star whale, which is what he you know was initially planning, which is what he was going to have to do, like
Mhm.
how that would sit with him. Like that is not something
Yeah.
he would want to do, but he feels like he has no choice. And at the time it does feel like the only choice, because they think if they let the star whale go, everyone's going to die. And like you already said, I love Amy having this realization, and realizing the star whale isn't going to just leave because she sees the similarities between the star whale and the doctor. And I love how she says it, what if you were very old and very kind and the very last of your kind? You couldn't just let
Mhm.
children cry. Ah, so
Mm.
good.
So good in that moment. And it's just really reminding the doctor in this moment, in a really tense moment, why he needs someone to help him. Like, not to help him, but like why he needs a companion to kind of
Hmm.
bring him down, talk him down, and work with him, because there's more than one solution and the doctor isn't always right. And so just having that reminder again of why it's so beneficial for the doctor to travel with someone, it's such a stark reminder in a case like this where, without Amy, realizing that he would have, made that choice to essentially make it so the whale wouldn't have any pain, but like the whale wouldn't be the whale anymore. So Yeah, this is why I enjoy this episode, is because
Hmm.
there's a lot to it and a lot of parallels between the star whale and the doctor. And I think this episode is really important to Amy and Eleven's relationship and the beginning of their friendship. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a beautiful parallel in this episode.
And I love that she just takes the initiative and stops him, just literally grabs Liz
Yeah.
10, has her push the button, and she's fully confident that, this is how it's going to go. And she was right. And they have that scene at the end where he says, you could have killed everyone on the ship. And she says, you could have killed a star whale. And, she
Yeah.
doesn't let him do that. And that's, she really proves herself as a companion in this moment, someone that can see a different perspective than the doctor and find a different way. And that's why the companions are so important, and that's why the doctor should never travel alone and should always have someone with him. And she really proves herself here, and I think their bond really solidifies by the end of this episode. I think she
Hmm.
sees the doctor so clearly, in ways that maybe other people don't necessarily see him,
Yeah.
because she met him as a child. I think that, because of fish fingers and custards, they see each other very clearly, and it's what makes their bond so special.
Yeah. And she's also very like firm in herself. She may not know if she's going to make it to her wedding day, but she knows, like, at her core, like, she's not going to just let the doctor continue on. Like, she's going to put a stop to him. And that's just another side of Amy that I really, really enjoy. That we
Yeah.
see time and time again is that she's very stubborn.
Hmm.
But I love that because I'm also stubborn, so it is not an insult.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the visual at the end of this episode of her and Eleven just like hugging in front of the
Hmm.
windows, the giant windows. That is
Yeah.
one of my favorite visuals of series 5.
Me too. Such a great shot. I love them, looking out at the stars. Also, the way the ship is made is like really interesting to me. Like they have,
Yeah, like
I don't know, it feels like an engineering nightmare. Maybe that's why the
no, it
ship wouldn't
does.
work without the star whale. But very
You're not
interesting,
wrong.
very scary, but and then they get someone's calling the TARDIS, and the doctor acts
Yeah.
like this is completely normal. Like people do this all the time.
Yeah, which this like clip specifically where he's just chatting up with Winston Churchill casually. I'm like, okay, you've been traveling for a hot minute and you've had previous run-ins with Churchill. But I love the trope of the doctor getting a phone call from the TARDIS phone.
Hmm.
We don't get it very often, but when we do, it's always iconic. And I love the visual that we get of Winston Churchill on the phone and just the shadow of a Dalek.
Yes,
Like that is so fun.
so good, so iconic. And yeah, we'll get to talk about by far the most beloved Dalek story of all of Doctor Who next week.
Yeah, not the sarcasm.
No.
Um
I will say right now, I haven't watched this episode in a long time, so I am going in kind of open mind,
hmm,
no previous thoughts, because it's been a long time for
okay.
me.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. I remember most of it, but it's been a hot minute for me. So we'll see how we feel next week. But at the end of this episode, we see the crack. The crack has
Yes, the
appeared on the
crack.
Starship UK.
There it is again. I wonder if we'll see it again.
I wonder.
Hmm. Haley, who is the star of the show?
Hmm. Okay. The star of the show, I have to give it to Liz 10 because she's just really iconic. And we kind of skipped over getting more into Liz 10, and I skipped over my criticism of her. But what I'll just kind of briefly say is that, like, she's both an icon and she's also awful in what she
Yeah.
did, if
And
that makes
also, like
sense.
Amy, she doesn't know what she did, so it's complicated, but it is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like she did set this whole thing up.
You know, what I will say, I like the version of Liz 10 that I know before I know the truth. I think that's kind of where I stand.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think when she does learn the truth, she is like, let's she like demands them to like let this star beast go, like let the star whale go immediately, and they're like, no, you actually can't do that. So she does try.
True.
She learns the truth, but you know,
This could have all been, well, could it have been avoided all those years ago without the
I don't
Dr.
know.
Namey?
It
I don't
is
know.
really funny. We didn't talk about it, but the moment where they're like, "We're going faster," and Amy's like, "Well, yeah, you're not torturing the driver."
Yeah, yeah. I do love the moment, side note, where the star whale just like touches the kid and is like, hey, like, you're okay.
Yeah, very
I find that
cute.
so sweet. Actually, you know what? Liston is not the star of the show. The star whale is.
Yeah, I think you're right. Have to give it to the star whale, and then I'll also say it's Amy because she really comes in clutch. She stops the doctor from killing the star whale. It's a great moment from her. One of her top companion moments for sure. And yeah, she really proves herself here, and I can't wait
Yeah.
to keep talking about Amy.
Amelia Pond.
Hmm. What is the heart of the episode?
Um,
Always question the government.
yeah, that's perfect actually. Always question the government, question anyone in authority.
And if there's something people don't want to talk about, maybe we should be talking about it.
Yeah, and if you're going into like a little room every 5 years to learn the truth and then you walk out not knowing anything, maybe think about that a little
Maybe let's
about
have some more
why.
conversations about our democracy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Now this is the time of the show where we get in the TARDIS and we look for reviews from 2010. I almost said 2005, but now we're in 2010. To hear what people were saying when the episode aired. So Haley, do we have any reviews from the past?
Yes, we do. And to be completely transparent with you, there is one review from 2010, but the other one is more recent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, honestly, okay, the initial reviews were, I don't know, there wasn't any that kind of popped out at me, except for these two that I selected, which is why only one of them is from 2010. But the user setmix on April 9th, 2010 wrote that while I liked Moffat returning to the formula of an episode that confuses the heck out of you, I felt this was a far weaker episode than the opener, and it honestly felt a lot more like filler to extend the series. Positives were that it added a plot device towards the finale. We now know that the universe is cracked meant much more than originally thought, having seen the crack again in this episode. The Doctor also had been given more to his character, as well as Amy, but the negatives were the smilers. Yes, they looked menacing, but they were built up to be the cause of something bad in this episode, and they were anything but. And then going further down, they write, to mention the other main elements, Liz 10 was played well, and Terrence Hardiman seemed to play his role in a similar way. I don't know who Terrence Hardiman is, so sorry.
Is he like the guy?
Maybe. Because he, in parentheses, this reviewer says, more popularly known in the UK as the Demon Headmaster on television.
Huh. Interesting.
Very interesting. But in summary, a nice episode let down by not much happening, seemed a lot like filler and a plot device towards the finale.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about the smilers at all because honestly, what is there to say? They look creepy. They are
Yeah,
there. They exist. It is kind of funny,
I don't
like
like them.
whenever you see Series 5 promo, like they are such a big part of the promo. And they really, yeah, they're just kind of there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I really just don't have much to say about them. I I don't think this is a filler episode because I think one we see the doctor kind of like still dealing with the consequences of, his past actions, being hesitant to, go back into his old ways. I think we see, great moments from Amy, great character moments from the Doctor. We learn a lot about, how this Doctor operates. You can't say it's a filler. The character moments are really strong, and that's why I love it.
Agreed. All right, this last review I have was written on January 20th, 2020 by the user 6shooter500, and they wrote saying, "The Doctor lands on Starship UK and discovered a moral dilemma. What can the Doctor do to save everyone without doing something terrible? This choice here in this episode is much like choices he's made before, at Pompeii and the Time War, and the fact that Amy finds another way spoils nothing. Because that's one of the most vital roles of a companion, stopping the Doctor when it was necessary. This is a fantastic look into what kind of secrets that a society would want to keep buried just for the sake of functioning, and a great first journey in the TARDIS. The weakness isn't the episode's fault. Prior to it was the 11th hour, and before that was the heartfelt end of time. It's hard to follow that, but consider this episode on its own. It's worth your time." Sorry, I'm just laughing at the end of time mention.
Yeah, it's so hard to follow the end of time. um, but yeah, no, I think that review, they really got it.
They did. I really enjoy this episode. It's a really fun episode. I mean, not fun. It's actually heartbreaking, but you guys know what I mean, hopefully.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
I think it's slept on. I think it's underlooked.
Mm-hmm.
Overlooked? Yeah, whatever.
Overlooked,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's late. I'm tired, guys. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
it's a great episode, and we got a lot more great episodes to come this season. So we will be back next week with Victory of the Daleks.
And until then, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at TimeyWimeyPod, and send us an email to timeyWimeyPod@gmail.com.
Yeah, let us know like your thoughts on this season, your thoughts on
Mm-hmm.
Amy, the Ponds. We want to hear it all, and we'll
Yes.
read it out on an episode. But until then,
Yeah.
oh, and leave us a review if you want.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah.
Please leave us a
And we're
review.
on YouTube if you want to
Yeah.
see us.
Yeah, we are on YouTube. New era. We got a new cover, so a new podcast logo. So check that out if you haven't yet. Follow us on Spotify, on all the things, and we will talk to you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Bye. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.